This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Wow, what a start. We've already got over 100 waiting for the start of the show, which is absolutely amazing. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Sunday night, and that can mean it's only got to be extra time, the show, where we look back at the weekend's action and what action it was. It was an incredibly long day for me yesterday. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a bit. But the result that mattered was AFC Bournemouth, the Cherries, 1. The mighty Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Gary O'Neill said it was just another game. Yeah, right. He wanted to win that match. I'm pretty sure of it. We've got a fantastic lineup again tonight, of course. We're going to be talking, obviously, all about the game, the things learned, talking points from that. We've got the quiz back this week, the little quiz challenge. But we're also going to be asking each of my pundits their memories of the late Sir Bobby Charlton, a footballing hero, an icon that transcends any football club. And, he sadly passed away during the 3 p.m. kickoff yesterday. So it's only right that we pay a little bit of respects to Bobby Charlton as well. I do want to say, before we get started, of course, a massive thank you to the local company that is Creation Walks for powering extra time, delivering the industry's latest and most advanced digital solutions. If you've got a company or a brand, make sure you get in touch with them, because they are the best. They're local, and they will enhance your digital capabilities. It's creationwolves.com. They're Wolves fans as well. And the link is in the description below. So let's get ready to rumble. We have, first of all, joining us, the voice of reason. Jack, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. If you watched the bonus fan reaction, Jack was able to come on to that yesterday because he was staying over in Bournemouth. And before we get started, mate, how messy was your evening?
It wasn't too bad, to be fair, because we went to watch the rugby sort of in the evening. And
mate, I was gutted with that. I watched the rugby. I was listening to it on the radio on the way back. I was a lot, because I've loved the internationals, and they played so well, didn't they?
They did. I mean, I've got to be honest, and I know Craig, who comes on sometimes, is a much bigger, and we had a little chat, didn't we, the other week, and we didn't have England down for anything really in this World Cup. So just to be in the semi-final against South Africa, I think they've kind of done above and beyond. But to get so close to it was a penalty at the end, wasn't it? And yeah. But so yeah, we had a good night, and obviously when you go for a night away after the football, if you've won the game, it's always a lot better as well. So that helped. Did you do any
boogieing on a dance floor anywhere? Could make any moves?
I always do, don't I? I'll give it a go. So yeah, but it's quite quiet around Bournemouth, to be fair. So I think
obviously after that defeat, they're all a bit depressed, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've also got coming on in the first half of the show with, of course, his friend on his shoulder, Wolfie, and it actually does. I reckon they've actually modelled the new Wolfie off. I reckon that Wolves have come on. They've seen your Wolf, and they've gone, do you know what? He looks a proper cool Wolf. We're going to model our Wolfie, new Wolfie, off him. Is there anything you want to insight? If you tell us about it, in touch.
No, I mean, but I might have to write an invoice, for copyright. So yeah, if they have, then that's all good. But myself and my friend on the shoulder are in good spirits, as I'm sure everyone is. It's just Wolfie. I think at one point we muted a name, didn't we? I think John D. Wolf was mentioned, but if people want to give Wolfie a name other than Wolfie, which isn't the most imaginative.
Tonight we have to give. We can't call him Wolfie. He needs a different name. We have to give Hoops Wolf a proper cool name. And to be honest, that Wolf, seriously is the star of the show, really, because like sometimes when Wolves aren't playing well, he refuses to come on. He turns his back. Sometimes he looks mean, but he really looks happy today. Hoops, your Wolf.
Do you know what he is? I don't know if it's the lighting, but he's looking pretty good actually. And he's a little bit decorated actually. If I move out the way, my daughter's got a little picture which you can't quite work out. You might see the Wolves badge just directly underneath him. She's done a little bit of a collage. Howler is a good shout.
That's a good shout. Howler is.
Yeah.
How about what Merv got here? Wolfie Wolfie.
So yeah, go for it. If there's one that sticks, we'll do it and we'll keep to it. But yeah, it's quite funny because I use this for my work as well. So yeah, I get a few sort of looks on serious meetings that he's there, but I'm not moving him. So mate, he's a bit of an icebreaker.
You love it, you do. He's there because you just like, I'm a bloody Wolves fan and I'm damn proud of it, mate. That's what it's all about. Absolutely. Anyway, we do have to now bring on a very, very meek and mild young person. You know, always entertains, and that is the Lord himself. I mean, he isn't called the Lord Jason Guy. He hasn't called himself Lord for no reason. I mean, you know, this guy's full of confidence.
I'll be honest, Dave, I didn't call myself that. Someone paid 35 quid online, and I put it on Twitter, and it upset that many people. I thought I'll keep it there. But what also upsets that many people, Dave, was the fact that who won the tournament last week? Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it was to be fair, we have to say this in all fairness, because like the rules of the tournament were that you're supposed to be associated with someone's podcast or you've been on the podcast. And Jason's team was, I mentioned him on a podcast. He did my artwork and stuff like that. But it was basically the renamed. It was the Wolves Wolf Whistle All-Stars. All the semi-pros were out, but it was a great day. And whilst we're on it, we should say that we have raised. I'm going to put it up on the thing for everyone to see now. We have raised a fantastic amount, and it looks like 2,580, but when you scroll down, there he is. Look, there they all are.
Look at the ringers.
all the semi-pros. If we scroll down here and we look down here with the gift aid, it's over £3,000 raised for what is a fantastic thing for the foundation. And I did go for a debrief at Molineux with the foundation on Thursday. It is going to be turned into an annual event. We've got some ideas to try and beat that for next year. And you know, we'll obviously give you more, but I am very, very grateful to all of the content creators that you know, create fantastic content for our great club coming on. And just so that you can see, you know, this was our team. If I can put that, where is this? Here we go. You might recognise a few people there. You know, Sensational Stan, Magic Moss, Manny Jeevan, Craig, our 62-year-old Tuba Wolf goalkeeper, Monster, who's been on the away fan reactions, Scott, who comes on here regular, Jack, who's been on the away fan reaction, Balak on the away fan reaction, Lewis, who you saw on here with Bully, the gaffer himself, Chris, who went to the match with yesterday. There's me and there's Paul. And I have to tell you guys, because we had the group of death, because we had Wolves staff who play on there all the time. We had the foundation themselves, who obviously do a lot of training. We had the great lads from the Fancast and ourselves. So we had a pretty tough group. And I scored a back post header to beat the foundation. Apparently it was Don Goodman-esque. Hit the post after that. So we won that one. And then we had a great game against the Fancast boys. Paul got an early goal in the first minute, and then Jeevan got a goal. So we won that 2-0. And then halfway through the third match, which is against the Wolves staff, who are a very good side, Monster McLeod and Paul picked up injuries. Well, we'd already lost Balak before the start of the tournament in the warm-ups. We only had 7 players left. So we lost that game eventually in the last 3 minutes. And then we played the Wolves All-Stars. The Wolf Whistle. And they absolutely tanked us. They did. But had we had our side, I think
even I scored.
We basically ran out of steam. And then they won in the final against the Talking Wolves boys. But we came third, so I'm quite proud of that in our first attempt. And Magic Moss was there in the changing room giving us advice for sensation. So it was great. It was a good day, wasn't it, Jay?
Oh, it was brilliant. And I know I joked that we won, and we got the trophy. And but on a serious note, the main thing is over £3,000 raised for charity, Dave, and all credit to you for putting it together. It was a great day. It
was a great day, and everyone had such a lot of fun, and we enjoyed it. So I want to thank everyone who's donated and thing. And if you do want to chip in, still a little bit of time this weekend. The link's in the description below. Right, well, I'll tell you about my day yesterday because, it was a long trip. Went down to Bournemouth, full of positivity. 7:30 set off. Met Paul, then met Chris. We travelled down, stopped on the services on the way down, had a cup of tea and had some sandwiches. Got to the ground, met Kurt from the Cherries Red Army. He's the guy who came on and basically wanted us all to commit suicide over Gary O'Neill. Met him before the game. He was talking about a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. Obviously, we went behind. We won the game. I came back. On the way back, I was invited to this KK Steelworks. Would you believe? Do you know where that is, boys?
Is it by that? Is it the hangar? Is that what it's called as well? Is that?
It's near the hangar.
Yes. Yeah.
Do any of you know Glenn Hughes?
Yeah. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him.
Well, he was the lead singer of Deep Purple, and he lives in LA. Well, he was doing a gig at Wolf, so I got invited. So at about 11:15, I turned up for about the last 15-20 minutes of that as he invited me down. So that was kind of cool, seeing a bit of Deep Purple before we got in at about 1 o'clock. So, Jack Walsh, you were out there shindigging it, giving it all down there in Bournemouth. I was literally in a rock club watching Glenn Hughes rock it out. So it was a long day. But what a day. I mean, what a day. Hoops. What a good victory that was.
Yeah. My day wasn't quite as exciting as that. But equally pleased, as I'm sure we all were, with the result. I mean, in the context of the game, which we'll go into detail, but I mean, as a day, as a result, it's fantastic to be talking now. 9 games in and 12th in the league. It's on average we're pretty pleased. There's still work to do, but it's always nice talking after a win. There were points within that second half when I was thinking, this could be 2 points dropped. Are we going to just be that sort of unfortunate, Neely side and not get that goal? And it took perhaps a substitution again, a la sort of Everton away to get the goal. So delighted, really. There's not much to grumble about. It's a win. It's an away win, and we're pretty positive. So it's a good place to be at the moment. But football's a strange game. We'll see what next week brings. But right now, I think most people will be positive, and there's not too much, although I'm sure we'll find reason to grumble about at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 3 weeks ago, everyone was suicidal and, Gary O'Neill out. Now we're 12th in the table, 11th points. And where have all the haters gone? Let's see. Jack, to you, my friend, great seeing you after the match. Talk me through your day and your expectations going into the game. Obviously, we knew that Nelson Semedo and Mario Lemina was going to be out with suspension. Pretty much went with the same formation, switched out Doc for Semedo, who apparently had a bit of a groin strain. And he also then brought in Boubacar Traore with Joe Gomez. But it took Joe Gomez after half time and brought on Tommy Doyle. Talk me through the game.
Yeah, no, I think you got the selection right. I think when you have to make enforced changes, I think you then have to kind of keep your optional changes to a minimum. Because if you may have to make 2 changes because of suspension, then you decide to make 2 other tactical changes. You've changed 4 players there. That's just under half a team, isn't it? So you're not going to get the rhythm or the continuity. So I think you did the right thing in just making the 2 enforced changes. I said to you straight after the game, and I've not changed my opinion there. We were really unfortunate to be behind at half time based on how the first half went. I mean, Bournemouth took their goal really well. I've watched it back. I was quite critical of our defending, but I've watched it back. I think you give them a little bit more credit for how they've sort of worked the ball wide and put it in. We just didn't do enough when we had the possession and the territory. That was the frustration first half. We got into really good positions. I mean, Kuna was killing them. They were trying to hack him down and all sorts, and he was getting right to the edge of the box, and he was holding the ball and waiting for the pass. And you think, just have a go, just have a shot. You know, he might deflect and go in the corner, or you know, you might win a corner, anything. You know, I think Wang got in twice and cut it back, and he went to a defender instead of an attacker. So I think we got into some really good positions, but just didn't work the goalkeeper or didn't, you know, capitalise on it. Second half was much better. Tommy Doyle came on and had a huge impact because he was positive and he was looking forward with his passes. As soon as he got the ball, he was saying, right, how can I get us up the pitch? Do I need to play a crossfield pass or do I need to carry it forward? You know, I thought Boubacar was much better second half as well. I'm not quite sure him and Gomez works as a pair at the minute. I think they're quite alike. So I think the sort of the contrast between Traore and Doyle was much better second half. I said to you as well yesterday that the sending off had a huge impact. I think it did because I think what happened was Bournemouth then set up their stall for a point. And so what that meant was we could take Totti off because we didn't need the 3 centre-halves, and you get Sarabia on. And I don't think he had a massive impact, but he was an extra body forward. And then obviously you can bring Sasha on towards the end. When you're playing against 10 men, you're not going to be able to play through them because they're going to sit deep and they're going to make it really difficult. So having a guy who's 6'8", so you can work the ball wide and get the ball in the box is absolutely huge. And I think, you know, Chris called it, didn't he, on your vlog, and we were saying around by me, Sasha will get the winner here. He'll come on and he'll get the winner, and that's exactly what happened. We were expecting it to be a header from a cross or something, and it was actually a really nice, smart finish. But you just kind of felt that he was the guy that was going to come on and make the difference. He was going to find that bit of space. He was going to get on the end of something and win us the game. And that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely. And you have to say, like a lot of people talk about his height, and obviously he has got a presence. But this guy, Sasha Kalajic, he's got a lot more about him than that. I mean, that finish was a fantastic striker's finish, but you have to give credit, first of all. You know, he chased down the ball to win the ball back. When that went over, some referees might have blown for a foul there because they kind of stumbled into each other and both went down, but they played on. Which was the right thing to do. And then, you know, it was a beautiful ball from Wang. I mean, the weight of that ball into him, he put it into him, and then he literally just hit it first time into the back of the net, and obviously delivered. I mean, but before that, there was such an amazing move. And I'm going to try and see whether I can actually find that move in a little bit for you, because I've got it on video. It's one of the best bits of football I've ever seen us play, and it came to Pedro Neto. If he'd have finished it, it would have been one of the goals of the season. It was you know, the move I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing. It was like. You know, it was like Barcelona City at their peak. It was like that good.
It was like watching the Wolves All-Stars.
Well, that's what I was thinking of. But it was just like the All-Stars. Yeah.
It was no. It's like watching the Wolf Whistle pod. You know, /
Ajax.
They really well. Jason, obviously you've watched the game.
Yes.
Talk with, obviously you weren't able to go yesterday, but you've watched it. Talk us through your thoughts whilst I try and find this clip.
I watched it down the pub. Listen, for me, once again, Neto, he hit the bar early doors. He's a constant threat. He seems to be the heartbeat, moving forward. And I think now, hopefully now he's past all his injuries, because before I was always worried that there was an injury in him. Now he seems, this for me is his best run of form. And all his Portuguese counterparts, or most of them, have gone, and this is his best run of form for me, most definitely. With regards to the goal, can't really disagree with what Jack says, in as much as, Bournemouth have got to take some credit for that, because they did open up on the right well and get the ball in. if I was going to be overly critical, he's got the right side of Kilman and put it in the back of the net. Kilman could have been a bit tighter to him. That's if I'm being overly critical, but it was a well-worked goal by Bournemouth. We haven't mentioned the sending off yet, have we?
No. What's your take on that, mate?
Well, I think Hwang's playing the game there, isn't he? Because let's be honest, there is contact, as you can see. And once again, if that was like similar what happened at Luton the other week, feel a bit aggrieved. He's got contact. Is that enough for Hwang to go down like that? No, of course it isn't, right? But he's playing the game and he's gone for it, and we've got the red card, and that's really a pivotal moment in the game, Dave. And you've got to play the game. If Hwang stays on his feet, who knows? But he goes down, and that's then a certain red card. It would have been a red card anyway, but then it's a certain red card. But Hwang did the right thing there. As unethical as it is, because that headbutt did not send him to the floor. He like I said, he's got to play the game there, hasn't he? It's so important.
To be fair, if any players headbutted like that, they're going to milk it, aren't they? Let's face it. How many times? We were talking on the way to the game. I don't think we'd had anyone sent off against us.
Yeah,
for like 2 years, and that Scott guy was rough and ready the whole game. The tackle was bad on him. You could understand why Hwang reacted the way he did. Don't forget, this is a guy that's had a few injuries as well, and you don't need that. It was Cook, wasn't it, that was sent off, yeah? And then, he goes into him and it's a head. But I think even if he doesn't go down, he probably still gets sent off.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone. But it was a rush of blood. But like you say, it's a little bit like frustration, because like the Luton game, like you rightly said, with Bellegarde, he was trying to get up. They had him stuck around there, didn't they? And he kicked him away. You can't do anything like that nowadays, and it's going to be you're going to be off.
Not with the amount of cameras and obviously VAR, they're going to catch you every time. And with regards to the goals, I'm so pleased that Tommy Doyle had a part in it, because it's difficult at the minute with the Wolves midfield being as solid as they've been. It's difficult to obviously get an opportunity, and it's so important. And that's what I'm going to come on to with Kalajdzic for the second goal in a minute, taking the opportunity. And Tommy Doyle did. Obviously, great ball through to Neto, and then obviously laid it off to Cunha with a great finish. And it was a good finish. And this is what our strikers are paid to do. And finally, our strikers are scoring goals after all this time. And with the second goal, Kalajdzic, great finish, great ball by Hwang, hit it first time. It's so easy as a striker to absolutely lace it from there. Last couple of minutes of the game, ball's coming through to you. So easy just to put your laces through it, to think you're making sure, not make proper contact, hit it at the keeper, put it wide, hit it over the bar, but he just calmly, full of composure, put it in the back of the net. And that is the difference between him and a player like Silva, in as much as Kalajdzic is now taking his chances. What I hope, though, is that Gary O'Neill doesn't see him as an impact player, because nobody wants that tag. Adama Traore, obviously, I know the completely different player to Kalajdzic, but he had that impact player tag. So it's important that Kalajdzic doesn't get that, because I feel he can offer so much. He's obviously come on and got the winner against Everton. He's come on and obviously got the winner yesterday against Bournemouth. He certainly doesn't want that tag, but the composure in front of goal was just pure class from Kalajdzic, and obviously that won us the game. And I just think, as a striker, for his confidence, that's just so important. So I'm really pleased Doyle had a part in the first goal, and obviously Kalajdzic scored the second.
Is a proper striker. Let me just play this bit of video. This is this fantastic, which I captured, and it is on the match vlog. If you've not watched it, make sure you check that out later. I'm going to put this on. Watch the football with this. Brilliant. If that goes in, what a goal! What a goal that is!
It would have been like ours against you in the tournament, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No,
I like that. That would have been a fantastic. You can milk it. You keep milking it, mate. You can milk it for as much as you like, and we'll.
I've got 12 months on it, and I want to make a point as well about Gary O'Neill, because listen, he was getting slaughtered, and proper slaughtered, calling him a PE teacher, silly, stupid, pathetic things like that. Now, the reality is, I did say, obviously, Wolves weren't going to get rid of him when we had that patch at the start. you've got to stick with your managers. There's no point in turning into a Watford and keep changing your managers. I'm not saying Wolves are the finished product. I'm not saying Gary O'Neill's the best manager in our history. I'm just saying this is why you need to stick with managers. And this is why, you know, you can see over time, over a few matches, we look at a completely different side now to what we did 6 weeks ago. So this is the importance of it. And you know what? He's clearly doing a good job. The players have got a lot of confidence in him. And now he seems to be turning the fans round. So there's a lot of people out there eating humble pie.
Well, you're absolutely right. You've got. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I was very, very frustrated after the Ipswich match. More to the fact that how we collapsed again, and we've been collapsing in some of the substitutions and stuff like that. But even at that point, when people were saying he's got to go, he doesn't know what he's doing and stuff, you have to sort of take a step back and go, well, hold on a minute. He came in a week before the start of the season. You know, we've seen in bits some good performances, you know, and, you know, the Brighton game, it was 10 minutes after half time. We capitulated and we kept doing that. And then obviously the injuries come. You know, Doyle couldn't play against Man City. It was a tactical masterclass against Man City with the man marking the way he did it, what he bought. And you saw a team that reacted to adversity and we got the win. And I think that win, the Man City win and the way that we won and the way they executed the game plan built a lot of confidence. Villa was a tough game to follow it up. We know they've won again 4-1 today. They're no mugs. You know, we could have won that game again. Pedro Neto had another good opportunity to make it 2, but we drew the game. It's still a good point. And then, you know, you look at the other games. Everton, we sort of like we're reacting to to him going to Man City, and but we got the win. And we had Kirk coming on before the week looking at this. He's like, still believes in their manager, which is fair enough to him. But they're like 9 games in now and they haven't won. But like Gary O'Neill has got a team and he's fell on a team and a formation and they seem to be buying into what he's doing. They look more like we've got an identity now. We look like they believe in him. You saw Cooner coming out, how he's been talking. The goal, Cooner's goal as well, was such a well-taken goal. And again, you know, Tommy Doyle, he's made a change at half-time. I'm not sure what was Joe Gomez. Did he pick up a knock or was it just ineffective? But whatever happened, he brought on Tommy Doyle and it was a brave decision at half-time. Boubacar didn't look really too good in central midfield in the first half either. And Jack talked about the Bournemouth goal. I thought, yeah, it was a good goal from their point of view. But for me, it was way too easy. It was like one pass forward, another pass forward. They had 2 runners overlapping. They pulled it in the box and it was a nice finish, but like it was a goal that should have been stopped at source. But Gomez was so far forward, there was no midfield. They just literally ran through us. He made the changes. Tommy Doyle came on, and in the first minute of the game, he's making a really positive forward pass, which he runs into Neto. Neto is a clever player. He plays that ball through to Cooner, and Cooner for once doesn't try to cut it back like he did had a chance in the first half. He finishes it, and that's given him such a lot of confidence. And I loved Cooner at the end. You probably saw it, Jack, when they were singing his song and how he was dancing. He was really loving it. It was great. And Tommy Doyle, for me, I gave him my man of the match because he came on and he was looking for the ball. He was like almost Neves-esque. He'd drop on deep to get the ball, and he was, as Jack said, every time he got the ball, he was looking for a forward pass through the middle to the right. He even switched the play a few times, didn't he, Jack, with the way he was just so positive. And, you know, this was before the sending off. And he just took control of the midfield. And, like, Bournemouth, when they went a player down, you know, they were defending for their lives. It's a tight pitch anyway. I know Jack on the bonus reaction at the end says, you know, I think we'd have gone on and won that game anyway, because even with 11 men, I thought we were starting to take control because Bournemouth literally just sat, and I think we'd have gone on and won the game. Chris was quite positive, but the winner was really, really well deserved, wasn't it?
Another point about that winner, Dave. One point that I forgot to mention. Don't forget, you know, Bournemouth as well. They got caught out playing from the back, didn't they? And this is obviously this is what I'm scared of with Wolves. and you're seeing it. They seem to panic. They played that ball. I mean, that ball they played just straight through the middle of the box.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, if you watch the Cherries Red Army match vlog, which is Kurt, which is quite a good one, if you want to watch it watch the pain, because he's literally going apoplectic when that's happening. He's literally really, because like, what's that keeper doing with 2 minutes to go, trying to play out from the back like that? It's like, you don't want to be doing that.
2 minutes to go. You've got 10 men on the pitch, right? So the points, but listen, we'd about took a point, clearly. Why? Well, you know, obviously Wolves, when we're playing against 10 men, we're obviously going for the winner. But why didn't he just put his foot through it, you know?
Like we were doing, to be honest, we panicked a little. I thought we panicked a bit when we went in front, Jack. Did you? We panicked a little bit.
Yeah, there was one, I think there was literally like 20 seconds left of added time, and Sarr had the ball in his hand and he booted it straight down the middle of the pitch back to their goalkeeper. And you're just thinking, just hold the ball.
Yeah.
You know, we've got control of they've got to do something here. And if we've got the ball, they're not going to do anything. So just keep hold of the ball. And I think that's something Sarr's got to work on, this kind of awareness.
It's like exactly what their keeper did, to be honest. Yeah. It's just bit of I mean, you saw the Bournemouth manager on the sideline when the goal went in. I mean, you know, you got to feel for the guy. I mean, I don't, but like if you're a Bournemouth, you got you ain't. But he was literally throwing his water bottle down and stuff like that, because we've seen that happen from our team, and you're like, why have you done that? Is we remember that kick that Sarr did when it came straight back at us against Liverpool?
Yeah.
Quite a similar type of thing.
And Luton as well.
Maybe there's a bit of karma. The sending off for Bellegarde, you know, similar sort of situation. Red card, we finally got one for us. We were due one. And then we kept going and we got the winner late. It was like, you know, you see a top 6 team, that's what they do. They get a winner somehow, some way. They keep going, and we kept going and we got the winner. But I just would have liked to have seen us keep the ball. We had an extra man. We didn't need to keep booting it down the pitch. Just keep calm. Keep control of the game, and we didn't. We could have. We ended up conceding a corner or two, didn't we? That we had to defend. Their keeper was coming up, and you know, if they'd have got an equaliser, I'd have felt sick. But as it is, we won. But yeah, if you watch the Cherries Red Army vlog, Kirk puts a good together vlog on it actually, and you can see it from the Bournemouth fans' perspective. But yeah, definitely watch our vlog. Just before we go on to talking about the man of the match, the performance rating, and getting onto the quiz for tonight. Let's just have a little chance to talk about the late Sir Bobby Charlton, who sadly passed away at the age of 86 years of age. I mean, my dad's 86, and it brings that into perspective. But an absolute, I put a little post saying legend, icon, gentleman, and all of the above. Jack, do you want to sort of kick us off with your thoughts on Sir Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of mentioned it yesterday. I think someone that was part of the Busby Babes and the 1966 World Cup squad has made such a huge impact on English football. I don't think you can quite put it into words, really. I mean, he's such an iconic figure. You know, even if you never saw him play, you knew of him, you knew what kind of player he was. You know, just an iconic sort of figure. The iconic look, wasn't it, with the comb over as well? I mean, I think some of the great players, this the way they look, isn't it? You know, Maradona with his socks rolled down and things like that. They just have a look about them. What I wanted to touch on, which I forgot to mention yesterday, which was bad on my part, was the role that Sir Bobby's played in Duncan Edwards in Dudley, and sort of the memorial for Duncan Edwards and the statue. Because Sir Bobby was really important in fundraising for that and raising awareness, and he was quite poorly at the end, so he couldn't attend one of the events more recently. But he was there, I think, for the statue unveiling a few years ago. So you know, Duncan Edwards, one of the most famous Black Country sons. So I think, as sons of the Black Country ourselves, I think we owe Sir Bobby a huge sort of thank you for what he did for Duncan Edwards and Dudley as well.
To be fair, mate, that's a really, really good point that you made there as well. Obviously, Duncan Edwards, again, such a talent that he would have been. Hoops, you know, got any comments that you'd like to make about Sir Bobby Charlton? Did you know, from your perspective, anything you want to add to that?
I think in regards to Bobby Charlton, I think Jack has articulated it very well there, and the words that you'll hear used are profound in terms of, you know, iconic and legendary status. And yeah, he's one of those names synonymous not just, I guess, with English football, but world football as well. You know, playing for Man United, in that era, and obviously, 1966. And I think I was watching Match of the Day last night, and Alan Shearer said, he was a great goal scorer, but also a scorer of great goals, which I thought was a nice little tribute as well. So, yeah, I mean, I can only rely on footage, but I think anybody who sort of looks at the history of English football and football of that era, he's one of the names that will quickly come into discussion. So, may he rest in peace, an absolute legend. And, he's fortunate now that with modern technology, we can perhaps look back at his games, and perhaps people that weren't aware of him can, research his story. So sad news, but obviously a very true legend of the game.
Well said. And, Jason, someone that embraces the history of our great club, and you do such a fantastic job, in all seriousness, with the Wolf Whistle podcast and obviously the book, the two books that you've done out. You're someone that's really, really passionate about history, and you've spoken to so many Wolves players, ex-Wolves players, and I'm sure in conversations, Bobby Charlton must have come up at points during those conversations.
Absolutely, Dave. Everyone I spoke to about, obviously, Sir Bobby Charlton always only had good, positive things to say about him. And I was fortunate to get to meet him once. And
you did.
I was actually in the directors' lounge at Molineux when Wolves played Man United in, I believe it was about 2012. So obviously, Sir Bobby Charlton was there, and because I'd been invited, and they said it opened at same midday, I was gripping the first there to get into the free bar, and Sir Bobby was already there. So I thought, I'm not going to talk football to him because I'm way out my depth in even discuss. So I don't know how we got onto the subject, but obviously we had pleasantries, and there was only us in the room, and we started talking about holidays. And I had a chat to him for about 20 minutes about his holidays, where he likes to go, etc. And then I'm not going to name the person that come in, but he was on the Wolves board at the time, and he come in and sort of slid into the conversation and started talking about football straight away. And Bobby almost was quite dismissive, not rude, but was quite dismissive of it in continuing to talk to me about his holidays. And I think that's the measure of him, in as much as, yes, he had time for everyone, but, he was more than just a football person. Yes, he was a great footballer, as we all know, which he gets remembered for, but also he was a, really good person. He had time for a lot of people.
Mate, that is a really, really fantastic story, and really thanks for sharing that. I think that kind of throws a lot of light of what people have said about Sir Bobby Charlton. I mean, it doesn't matter like that. He played for United, he played for England, but some players just transcend club, country, and just anything. They're just like, you put him up there with the likes of Pele and people like that, who are just footballing icons, but not just about what the football, but about the person they are as well. And for anyone in life to be able to be as successful and win the amount of things that someone like him did, but still to be humble to the average person, like you're talking to you, doesn't know you're having a chat with you about his holidays and stuff like that, and taking time to talk about stuff like just normal stuff that at the end of the day is a human being, and that's what we all aspire to be. And that's a legacy, I think, that Sir Bobby leaves with us. And we will hear the thoughts of our other guests coming on in the second half of the show. But we do send our condolences to everyone obviously associated with his family and friends, of course, United, from the whole of our fan base, of course. We all have the same sentiments. Just before we go on to the next part of your bit, I do want to bring people's attention to the fantastic offer that we have now got again for you with NordVPN. I'm a user of NordVPN myself. I've got it on my phone, I've got it on the iPad, got it on the Mac, got it on the TV. Emma's got it on her phones. It literally... there's about 70% off with this deal. It's fantastic if you go on holiday. We're going on holiday soon. It means that we can switch over to the UK and still watch our programs that we like to watch over in the UK. Or if you do like to watch your live football and you need a different location from where you are. Sometimes you can put that on your TV and stuff as well. You watch your programs, you can get American Netflix, all that sort of stuff. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You get 24 months plus an extra 4 months. You click through on the offer, and it literally is, instead of £187 for 2 years, it's £64 for the first 2 years with the Always Wolves discount. That works out about £2.30 a month. It's a fantastic deal, and it gives you high secure VPN. And trust me, it's super fast. It doesn't slow you down. So I know a lot of you have got this. So the link for that is in the description below. Get the offer whilst it's still on, because it is a cracking little deal from NordVPN. Right. Guys, back onto you guys. Let me talk you through first. We'll go back with you first, Jason. Moment of the day, highlights of the day, man of the match, and performance rating.
Performance rating for me, 8 out of 10, and people could say, "Oh, it's quite a high score," but the reason being, Bournemouth could have been a banana skin yesterday. You know, we go in there, it's a winless team, and I put this post on Twitter, and I put, winless Bournemouth, and as soon as I pressed send, I thought, oh, we just give that the kiss of death. So it could have been a bit of a banana skin, but obviously we come out victorious. So 8 out of 10 for me. Man of the match, I'm going to give it to Tommy Doyle. On the basis he come on, he seemed unfazed. As we said, Boubacar Traoré did seem a bit out of sorts at times. Tommy Doyle slotted straight in, some good forward passing. Intent on playing the ball forward, and he's been a bit of a big part player because he couldn't play against Man City, and he's got to settle his way into the team. And I think to put a performance in like that when you're just trying to edge your way into the team, it now gives Gary O'Neill a bit of a selection headache on the basis. Does he drop him? Does he pick him for the next game? But if he does, he'll do a great job. Moment of the match for me was Gary O'Neill at the end. We really wanted that result. It was so important to him personally. There was a bit of needle in that game for him playing Bournemouth, his old club. Obviously we've heard some of the supporters weren't happy with his tenure there, but he had to go there and get a result, and he did. So I was really pleased for him and Sean Derry at the end when there was a few, punching each other and that. So yeah, for me, Gary O'Neill, that was my moment of the match.
Fantastic. Just a little reminder from everyone as well. I did promise Manny that I would give this a plug tonight. He's not very well today. He's been a bit in bed for the last couple of days. But Samosa Saturday does take place in aid of Dementia UK next Saturday. I will be, as usual, joining in to help for the 2 or 3 hours before the game starts. Hope to see people coming down, and as Manny would always say, donate what you can. If you've got no money, they'll still feed you anyway. But it all goes for a great cause, which is Dementia UK. My mom, bless her soul, who I know would be incredibly proud of the money that we raised for the foundation at the event last year, but at the weekend. But she had been diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. It was a heart that failed, but she done that. My auntie Sylvia passed away from the dementia side of things. It affects so many people. So please do support Manny's event, Samosa Saturday 20 next week against Newcastle. Hoops, on to you, mate. Same again for you. Your man of the match performance rating and your moment highlight of the day.
Yeah, excuse me. And get well soon to Manny. And as you say, that will be a great course next Saturday as well. And I think with a 5:30 kickoff as well, there'll be a few people on the booze most of the day. So I think they could probably do with a bit of food inside them as well. So that might be quite timely. But moving on to the game, I think as a rating, I would say sort of 7. I think the first half, I don't think was poor, but it was frustrating. I think as a performance, and things were tweaked as I'll come on to. But overall, I would say 7. There were some really good performances. I agree with Doyle. I think as Jack referenced earlier, a real progressive midfielder, changed the dynamic, straight away. And I could probably say, no, that's probably my moment of the match with him coming on, because he did change the game. But in terms of player of the match, I'm going to give it Pung. And I'm going to do that because he's in the form of his life, isn't he, at the moment? And I think, you'd had that incident with the sending off. The fans, are always going to be on his back, the home fans, after that decision. But he just got on. And ultimately, he was the cool head in the moment to play the right ball for the winning goal. So from an all-round contribution from a guy at the moment whose work rate is fantastic, I would say Hwang. And yeah, I'd repeat the moment of the match was probably that substitution by Gary O'Neill. And yeah, as Jay's referenced earlier, Gary O'Neill is turning people around. I'm probably at a point where I've had a spoonful of apple pie. I'm not ready to eat the full pie yet, but I'm more than happy to if he continues as he's doing at the moment. But yeah, that decision was the right call, and I think it'll be interesting as we go into Newcastle if he changes it again. But I think that tweak with Doyle, and I think as we've spoken about earlier with the Gomez, is a special talent. But I think as any young player, I think there's a bit of dip in form at the moment for me, and that might present an opportunity for the moment for someone like Doyle. And I think he changed the game, but some real good performances, and the likes of Neto again. Fantastic.
Very, very well said, and a good shout about Wang, mate. And you made a good argument for him. I'm going to temper it as I temper it when the pressure was building on Gary O'Neill, and I kept saying he ain't going to get sacked. There's no way that's going to happen. So don't even go there. He's just still in. They're going to, they've just brought him in. At the same time, it's really, really great. The last 3 games, the fact that we've seen these results, we're starting to see an identity, but we can't get carried away the other way. It's great to see. We did say we start to see the league table start to take shape after 9 or 10 games. So after next week, it's like 10 games. That's where you start to see where everyone is sitting. And it's going to be very interesting for me when we look ahead to Newcastle is what he does against Newcastle, because Newcastle, I saw match of the day, they're ranking first on everything. So is he going to go do another tactical masterclass, like do the man marking thing like he did on Manchester City and employ a similar sort of system for that? We'll have to wait and see how we compete, because Newcastle are a team full of confidence and are in form at the moment. So it's going to be another big test. But like the last, he's starting to pass these tests. And I think from what the players are saying and what he's saying, it's still early days. So we're not really going to see the full extent, but it is promising. So as much as I said to people, don't get carried away and, getting onto his back, even though it was bad, you've got to stay patient. The same temper has got to be said. Yeah, we've had some good results. Let's see how that continues. Does it fall back or does it continue? We've got to sort of temper it. Jack, on to you. Same questions before we get onto the quiz.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the performance rating, I'll go 7.5. I think, like I said, first half was, I think Hoops is right, frustrating. We didn't capitalise on good possession, good territory. Second half, a lot better, for the reasons that we've already discussed. So 7.5 kind of split the difference, if you like, and it's something really positive to build on. I think just on that, actually, just really quickly, Everton, Luton and Bournemouth, our 3 games so far against teams that we're expecting to struggle, 7 points. Keep that going throughout the season. You're pretty much home and hose just off the points you get against the strugglers before you even pick up your bonus points against City and Villa and maybe Newcastle next week. So that's a real positive that we're picking up the results in games where we've got to go and get results. Man of the match, I went with Kuna. I just think first half, I thought he was that difference in getting us up the pitch, but equally that frustration of not shooting when he's perhaps got the opportunity and not following the run when Wang gets the cut back in. But obviously took the goal really well. And like we said, he's a fantastic footballer, but he's a striker that costs £40 million. So we do need him to start scoring more goals. And I think that goal yesterday might just be the thing that kicks him off and goes, well, actually, next time I'm on the edge of the box, I'm going to try and put it in the corner because I did it at Bournemouth and it worked.
Like back to the first half where he pulled it back and he was kind of in and he should have hit it and he didn't. And then second half, he hit it first time and he thought, oh, yeah, I can do this.
Yes, sometimes you've just got to do it once and it work and you go, oh, okay, next time I've got the confidence to try it again and it might work again. And then all of a sudden, you look at Ollie Watkins at Villa at the minute, he's scoring so many goals that are almost identical because he knows what to do when he gets in that position. Right, I'm on the left-hand side of the box. I'm going to put it near post, top corner. Keeper's got no chance and he did it again today, didn't he? So hopefully Kuna can start thinking, when I'm on the edge of the box, I'm going to try and bend it in the corner because the keeper's not going to get it. I think one other person that perhaps needs a mention as well that we haven't mentioned is Dawson. I thought Dawson was terrific again at the back yesterday.
Interestingly enough, you talk about Dawson. We hung about a little bit at the end yesterday for the team. with Paul and Chris. I got a picture with me and Paul had a picture with Dawson. He's a tall lad, isn't he? And Sasha came over, and we just said, like, he come over, he told the people, said, no, we just want to shake your hand. And he come over and he shook Paul's hand, he shook my hand, and I said, well done, great finish, keep it up. Real humble person, Sasha Kalajic, he's someone that has been through a lot with his injuries, and is someone that is just so happy to be playing football again and scoring goals. And he really feels like he really, really appreciates it. Another little bit of insight for you. Whilst we were by the coaches, Max Kilman's mom was right by us with her son, 11-year-old son, who apparently also plays for Chelsea Academy as a centre-back. And we had a chat to her as well, and she was she was telling us how proud Max is to be captain of Wolves and how proud she is. She said, she was just saying he's so proud to be captain of this club, and and in her words, he's developing as a captain. We've talked about his captain role and he's learning the role and stuff. So she was really humble and nice, and that she lives down south because of her son, and they tried to go and watch her as well. I think Max's girlfriend was there as well, wasn't she? I think she was there as well. But Max came out separately, didn't go on the coach because he was going away with his mom. They were going somewhere for some food or something. But like, what struck me about Max when he came out, he had a lot of people around him. His mom was stood there waiting. Loads of people. He stood, talked to everyone, signed all the bits and pieces. Really humble, and went off. And it was just really nice what she said, how proud he is to be captain of Wolves. And I know he's had a bit of stick. He's a young lad for his captaincy, and probably we have to sort of lay off him a little bit because he is learning to be a captain. And I think having the likes of Dawson alongside him as well, that's definitely going to help. So that's fantastic. That's all yours, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah.
Right. Quiz. I'd say, Dave, sorry, just while it's a mine, just for listeners who are interested on Kilman. There was a great article which people may have seen over the weekend, which I think was in the Times. I think it was from Henry Winter. And it was a real in-depth interview with Kilman, a little bit about his backstory and his family as well. So, yeah, just while you mentioned it, people might want to check that out online.
That is a good point. It's a really, really good article that you mentioned there. And guys, before the end of the show, I've been sent a Christmas idea. If you're looking for a Christmas gift for your family or friends, hold fire, because I've got something to show you, which is a good idea for a Christmas gift coming up, because you got to start thinking about Christmas, haven't you? Right, are you ready for the quiz, boys?
No.
Right, Jason, no cheating with the book.
Me?
Not that you would ever do that or anything like that.
Cheat,
we're on transfer records, right? It's going to be. So, Jason, first one to you. It's the best of three. See who wins. In February 1968, Wolves bought Derek Parkin for Jason should win this easily as well. Bought Derek Parkin for a then club record, a reported 80,000. Which club did they buy him from? A, Stoke City, B, Newcastle, C, Huddersfield Town, or B, Bury?
B, Bury, when you've said
D, Bury.
Right, I am going to... what are the teams again, Dave?
A, Stoke, B, Newcastle, C, Huddersfield Town, or B, D, Bury.
I'm going to go for F, Newcastle.
It's not Newcastle. Is that your guess? Is that your final? Is that you're going to lock that in, or do you want to ask a friend?
Well, you said it's not Newcastle, so I'll say Stoke then, eh?
Well, yeah, it's Huddersfield Town, mate. Huddersfield it was. So, your next hoops. In March 1974, Wolves sold Jim McCalliog for a reported 81,000, equaling the club record all time. To which club did they sell him? Was it A, B, Sheffield Wednesday, C, Southampton, or D, Manchester United?
I know this one, Dave.
I'm going to go C.
You're going to go for Southampton?
If that was C, yeah.
It was D, Manchester United.
Okay.
So 0 out of 1. So Jack, you stepping up for your penalty. In September 1979, Wolves sold a player for more than £1 million for the first time. Was it A, Alan Sunderland, B, Steve Daly, C, Emily Newton?
I know this one.
Is it Steve Daly?
It is Steve Daly. 1 out of 1 from the spot. Okay, second penalty coming up to Jason. Steps up. In September 1979, Wolves bought a player for more than £1 million for the first time. Was it A? It was, of course, Andy Gray. And he literally stepped up that and did a Rabona down the middle of the goal. And the keeper's gone. He's like, no problem. Swagger. Nice one. 1 out of 2. Hoops, your penalty coming up. In August 1999, Wolves sold Robbie Keane for a reported $8.1 million, a club record at the time. Which club did they sell him to? A, Inter
Coventry.
Milan. A, Inter Milan. B, Leeds United. C, Tottenham Hotspur, or D, Coventry City.
I'm sure it was Coventry because weren't Villa in for him at the time, and then he went to play with Gordon Strachan at Coventry. I think he's played for all of them, but I think it was Coventry he went to.
You're going to lock that in. You're not going to say like Inter Milan. You're going Coventry City.
No, he went Coventry. Yeah, let's go Coventry. Yeah,
locking it in. Absolutely. Guys, in the chat, don't put the answers in the chat unless they ask a friend, because otherwise you're gonna help them out too much. They can ask a friend, so hold back before you put it into the chat for us, please. So basically, that's 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2. Jack's on 1 out of 1. He steps up for his second penalty. Jack, in August 2012, Wolves sold Stephen Fletcher, heads gone, for a reported $14 million, a club record at the time. To which club did they sell him?
Sunderland.
You're going to go for Sunderland.
Sunderland, yeah.
My God, he's done a Rabona as well. He's gone straight down with the Rabona. It's like, Jason, hold my beer. I'm going to do it. 2 out of 2 puts Jack in pole position. Okay. Jason, back to you. In January 2017, Wolves bought a player for more than $10 million for the first time. Who was it? Helder Costa, A, B, Ivan Cavallero, C, Adama Traore, or D, Ruben Neves? Don't shout in the chat, guys.
I'm going to go for Helder Costa.
You're going to go for
January.
A, Helder Costa. Is that you're locking it in?
Yeah, I don't think we signed Neves in the January.
It is correct. It's Helder Costa. Chris, please, will you stop shouting out the answers in the shop, or we'll have to time you out. That's aimed at Chris Jordan. Okay, 2 out of 3. The pressure's on to you now. In July 2019, Wolves bought Raul Jimenez for a reported $32 million, a club record at the time. Which club did they buy him from? A, Porto, B, Benfica, C, Sporting, or D, Atletico Madrid?
It was Benfica.
And the answer is Benfica. That's 2 out of 3. So Jack, he strolls up. He puts the ball on the spot.
You dare win, Jack. You dare win.
He's eyeing the keeper. In August 2022, Wolves bought Mateus Nunes for a reported 38 million. A club record at the time. Which club did they buy him from? Sporting, Estoril, Sevilla, or Barcelona?
Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon. And Jack is the winner of the first half of the quiz. He's left Lord Premier in his wake.
Lord Premier.
With Howler, howling with laughter at the back. His master's not one, but yeah, no, fantastic. And finally, guys, end of this one, before we get on to you, Jason, just to talk about your charity match coming up. We'll come to you last, Jack. Jack, score prediction for Newcastle?
It's always 1-1, isn't it? So let's go 1-1.
It blooming well is as well, pretty much. Yeah. Hoops, what you and Howler thinking? I think we're going to go with Howler.
Howler. I'm sure. I was just thinking, if I was a Howler, what voice would I put on? Or Cook?
Oh,
No.
we get Kev on.
2-2.
And Jason, score prediction.
Yeah, I'm going for 1-1.
Going for
sitting on the fence.
1-1. And now, Jason, you do have the return of the Wolves All-Stars playing at Bilston Town. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, very quickly, guys. Next Sunday, obviously, we've got Newcastle Saturday. Hopefully, we'll beat them. We'll all be in good spirits. Sunday, I'm actually going to the match with Simon Osborne, so we'll be at Molineux on Saturday. On the Sunday, 29th of August. Sunday, 20... Yeah. Flipping heck, Dave. The amount of names you drop, I'm surprised you're not wearing steel toe caps. So, Glenn Hughes' his mate there. Anyway, next Sunday, bring your autograph books. 29th of October, 2 p.m. kickoff, Bilston Town. Gates open about 12:30, 1 o'clock. We have got nearly 30 former Wolves players there. It's going to be the biggest collection of Wolves players in history, other than testimonials, and that is a fact. So we've got playing Matt Hill, Simon Osborne, Tony Dinning, Shaula Fignana, Adam Proudlock, Mickey Holmes, Jody Credit, Kevin Ashley, Colin Taylor, Matt Foreman, Paul Jones, Jackie Gallagher, Dennis Pearson, Mel Eves. And then attending, we've also got Colin Brazier, Robbie Dennison, Carl Akimi, Ali Robertson, Steve Daly, Phil Parks, Robbie Dennison, I've said him twice, Jerry Taylor, Teddy Wharton, and Dale Rudge, and Joe Jackson. So we've got nearly 30 former players. We've still got 2 or 3 that are waiting to confirm. We might have Matt Murray there. We might have a few others. So if you can get down, it's just £2 supporting 3 amazing charities. If you're doing nothing on Sunday, guys, £2. That's all it is. Bring your autographs book, 30 former players.
Fantastic, Jason. And have you got the link? Can you put that in the chat?
I'll put that in the chat. You can buy your tickets, as Jack's done, couple of quid, and you're supporting 3.
Can you buy on the day?
Yeah, you can pay on the day as well. Pay on the day. And there's a bar and there's going to be food there. So it's going to be a really good day. I did try and get Manny down to do a samosa Sunday, but he couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he'll be running out of samosas on the Saturday, hopefully, but you know.
Yeah, no. So if you can come, guys, you'll have a great day, I can assure you.
Fantastic, mate. Well, absolutely brilliant, Jason, as always. Thank you, gentlemen, for your fantastic input tonight. Much appreciated in the first half of the show. And if you're enjoying it, please smash a like. And don't forget, if you want to join in the chat, all you need to do is be a subscriber. This will be out on catch-up afterwards, of course. And it'll be out on podcast because Emma will put it out in the morning for you. But we're going to say ta-ra. And
it is program.
Oh, you got your program, from the weekend.
Your program from last week. Well done, Dave.
Oh, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. And thanks for everyone that's donated to that as well, because at the end of the day, all of these stuff help great causes. So much appreciated. Right, Hoops, Jack, Jason, and Howler, thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it.
See you later, guys. Well done.
Cheers. All the best.
See you later.
Right then. So what a fantastic first half of the show that was. It's absolutely brilliant first half. Brilliant commentary. Now, just before we get on to the second half of the show, where we've got Cheerful is back, Cheerful Chris. We've got one of my now signed on a 3-year deal, Scott, coming on. And then we have got, after the watershed, Sutty, who I had a lovely catch up with at the weekend, which was fantastic. And he hasn't been very well recently, so it was great to see him. Just before we get on to that, guys, if you're looking for a Christmas present, I've got something that's you might be interested in. So I'm just going to put this little video on for you now. Well, they've sent me to be motivated. Here we go. Will be motivated. Before we get on to that, I do want to say thank you ever so much to Foco, who have basically, I'm in Molineux, and they've sent me they've sent me a replica Molineux. I've got to make this. I'll put a picture up of what it looks like when it's finished. If you want one of these, great Christmas box for someone, I'll put the link in the description below. And if you quote Always Wolves 15, you get 15% off as well. Looking ahead to the game. Fantastic. So that's the thing. I've got it here. Christmas box, 15% off. The link's in the description below. There's a lot of other Wolves merchandise on there that you can pick from. As long as you use Always Wolves 15, you get a nice discount off that, and it's all licensed Wolves merch. So check the link in the description below. I'm going to make this. It's going to go in my office when I've done it, but it's going to take a little while. But there you go. And if you've got any Mad Wolves fans, you can build your own Molyneux. Fantastic. Let's bring on Chris. Cheerful Chris. How you going, mate?
Dave, sorry, the F1's on. I was a little bit distracted. So
Fantastic.
I'm fine. Look, it's 5 laps left, and Lewis might eventually beat Max Verstappen this year, so that'll be great. But yeah,
is he leading the Grand Prix?
No, he's about 5 seconds behind on faster tyres with 7 laps to go, and he's reeling them in.
Oh, it's quite exciting then.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll probably stop the race and give him the title anyway. I mean, I know he's already won, but
they've done that before. They won't do it again.
Yeah. We've also got one of my now official signed on a 3-year contract after such a fantastic performance, I have to say, at the last weekend as part of the Always Wolves team. I'm just going to put that Ben on the screen there for you. You can see Scott. There he is. We drew grey. We looked good, didn't we? And before the injuries, Scott, we were doing good, weren't we?
We were. I think we surprised a lot of teams and got to the semi-final really well. But like you say, injuries played a factor and cost us our semi-final.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring Sutty on, but before Sutty introduce Sutty, talk through my goal, mate. I got to tell him about my goal in the first game.
So what makes this goal even better is it's against my mate, who is the Brushbury goalkeeper to the club I run. And literally it was well-worked goal. A lot of Barcelona-esque passing. And then the ball gets played across and you think it's dead and buried. Nothing's going to come of it. And who's on the back post running in like Don Goodman, bullet header, only Dazzling Dave.
Top corner. One of my greatest sporting moments. There's a big cheer as well. I said to Paul yesterday, he said his face is full of joy and shock. And it's like, I don't score headers. I hit the post just after, didn't I, as well?
Yeah, straight after. Yeah.
So, if I'm going to try and get Fabio, go and get in front of Fabio. Sutty, I have to say, it's so great to have you back. I know you've not been very well. You've been dealing with the shingles, not very pleasant.
Good evening, David.
And
Chris, Scott.
It was great to see you down there on the South Coast in the stadium, mate. I saw you before the game, saw you at half-time. I was looking for you at the end. Mate, great win.
Fantastic. Didn't think, I personally did. I thought it was unlucky to be 1 down at half-time. I mean, we sort of went to sleep, didn't we, Dave, for a few seconds. And it was a good finish, little back heel, real good finish. But I said to you at half-time, didn't I, Dave, we'll win this 2-1.
You did.
And
what happened?
Well, we won 2-1, obviously, but I just thought we were better. I looked at Bournemouth and I thought, who would I take from Bournemouth to replace anyone from our side? I tend to do that, to be honest. And I wouldn't have anybody from Bournemouth on current form, Dave. They don't really. I think they're going to really struggle because they've got a manager in there now that's tried to put. If you put him in at somewhere like Arsenal, this manager at Bournemouth, he'd be fabulous. But they haven't got the right personnel to play the kind of football he wants to play. So I've got a funny feeling that they'll be in the Championship this time next year, Dave. But just quickly, what I want to say, Dave, because I've got to eat a little bit of humble pie here. 4 weeks ago against Luton, I predicted we'd be bottom after the Bournemouth game. And I've got that a bit wrong, Dave. A change of tactic, going 5 at the back again, like we said last week and the week before, has worked wonders for us. And we look a totally different side. And we've got a forward line that's fast and is starting to frighten a few people. So, a bit of humble pie eating there, Dave.
To be fair, Sutty, you said yourself, like, if things do change, you'll be the first one to come on and in your own words, You said eat humble pie. I mean, you said that yourself, and here you are. But I do want to, before you say anything else, guys, today is Sutty's birthday. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to you.
I've had too many now, Dave.
Mate, so send you happy birthday wishes to Sutty. I was going to try and get him on after the game yesterday, but he had to get back. He had to get back for a meal. Tell us about your meal, mate. Did you get back for it?
Indian.
Nice curry.
Yeah. It's my favourite, Dave.
What did you have, mate?
Well, I don't have hot stuff, Dave. The hottest I go is probably a jalfrezi, but I have a chicken tikka boona with extra spinach, Dave, and it's really nice. So,
I like a nice chicken tikka rogan, Josh.
Yeah, nice, mate. I do like an Indian more than anything, Dave.
Well, I recently had the pleasure of sharing an Indian with Scott when we went for our training match, didn't we, Scott? That was a nice evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice venue, beautiful food.
What Indian did you go to? Chris Jordan wants to know.
Entourage.
Is that in Worcester?
Cutnell Green, just between Droitwich and Kidderminster.
That one of your regulars?
Not really, Dave. It's quite posh, Dave.
Oh, it's an upmarket Indian. Yeah. It's like do they call them Indian fusion?
No, it's not fusion, Dave. This guy is who owns this place is pretty special, mate. He actually teaches people how to do proper curry and everything. So it's quite posh. And if you know me well enough, Dave, you'll know I'm probably the furthest thing from posh you could ever come in contact with.
But you do appreciate your food.
Oh, I like food, yeah. Quite a lot of it, as you can see by my physique.
There you go. Absolutely brilliant. Well, Sutty, we'll carry on with you because, like, we had a really nice chat before the game. We're talking about it. There's a good atmosphere down there. The Bournemouth fans were going into it. No, like they hadn't got a win. They were desperate for a win. Pedro Neto does Pedro Neto things, hit the bar, great run, unlucky. That could have gone in. I felt quite relaxed throughout most of the game in the first half. I thought we were in control of the game, but we just didn't seem to move the ball quick enough at times. And Pedro Neto hits the bar. Then they score, which was a very soft goal for me. I thought it was too easy, the goal. We got a bit of control back, but like you said, you could see positive signs at halftime when you come to see me, and you said, we were all still feeling quite positive at halftime. What did you think of what did you think of the change that Gary O'Neill made at halftime?
Change the game, Dave. Completely change the game. Young lad, young Doyle's come on. And his first thought every time he picks the ball up is look up and make a forward pass. Within 2 minutes of the restart after half time, he's picked the ball up on his own 18-yard box on the D. He's drove forward 5 yards and he's played a 30-yard ball to Neto. Neto's played Cunha in, bang, goal. And it's about being positive, isn't it? It's positive football. Sometimes it's quite direct football as well. It's fast, it's positive, bang, goal. And the kid ran the show in the second half.
He just wanted the ball all the time, didn't he?
All the time. And not only that, Dave, when he took all the corners from our side, and when he was G'ing the away support up, and that, well, I think yesterday the diehards fell in love with Tommy Doyle, didn't they? They loved him, and he was outstanding. It's given Gary O'Neill a big headache for Newcastle. Does he start him? Does he bring him on just after half time again? It doesn't hurt anybody to, Gomez has been outstanding, all for this season, and but to have a break every now and then, nobody can consistently keep those performances up. And it was a good change. It worked. He was positive. And Gary O'Neill will be sat there with a tot of whiskey tonight feeling quite smug, and rightly so, because for some unknown reason, for somebody that's, literally lifted a sinking ship with rubber armbands, because they weren't very good, let's be honest, last season, and he's got them up to 14th, they've took a real bad dislike to him. And it's not like he walked, he was sacked. So I'm glad for him, to be honest, because when he came over to us at the end, you could tell he was a little bit happy, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, he said all the right things before the game. He said, like, it's just a game like anything else, this, that, and the other. He said all the right things in the press at the end of the game. It's just, it doesn't make any difference. All of us know it's like, if you're in that dressing room and that's your manager, he's been sacked and let go after, keeping Bournemouth in the division last year. He's going to want to win that game, whatever he says.
Absolutely.
He's really going to want to win it, and you could see it at the end. And the other thing is, I think it was Emma that said, she said, like, when you actually see Bournemouth and where they are now under this new guy, and like the Bournemouth fans think they're better than they are. Like they think they're like the top 10 team, and they've got this new whatever. And Kirk's come on, and he's a good guy. Kirk, he's frustrated. They've got Areola on, the manager. 9 games in, the new owners have come in. They're the 6th highest spenders, Bournemouth, in the last 2 years in the Premier League, and I think they've got ahead of themselves.
Well, the thing is, Dave, it's almost like, I keep saying this every time I go to Bournemouth, it's like walking into Agborough at Kidderminster Harriers ground. It's not much bigger than that. And if you're a player if you're walking in, they say, come on, we'll show you the stadium, and you walk into that surely is a stepping stone club for me. It's got to be. You don't look at that and say, if you're a young, aspiring Premier League footballer, you don't walk into that ground and say, yeah, this place is going places. They do well to stay up, Dave. And just a quick one as well, Dave. Taverner, who was playing on the wing for them, winding us lot up in the first half.
Oh yeah, he was laughing at. He was laughing when he laughing at
us, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, because he weren't laughing at the end. Because let's be honest, I'm not a great stats person, but yesterday, if you look at our stats, I'm pretty sure we've battered them in every department.
We did, and we got the win in the end. And I think we'd have won the game even 11 versus.
I do.
11.
I think if without the sending off, we'd have won.
I think so as well. Scott, you play football. Yourself. You obviously you started Bushbury. You still have a love for. You played a charity game today as well, which was fantastic, mate, and raised a bit of money. I mean, you watched the game yesterday. What's your takeaway?
Well, as soon as Neto hit the crossbar, you knew that we were up for it. And it was good to see, because the confidence in this side at the minute is going strong. And I'll give, in turn, Gary O'Neill confidence too. And that's why going into that Bournemouth game, I honestly thought that we would win. I agree with the sense of like the red card. I don't think would have changed anything. I do think we would have still won even if it was 11v11. We were playing incredibly well. We know that ain't the best, and we know we can produce better, but we were better than Bournemouth on the day by far, and we would fully deserve the 3 points. And it was good to see Sasa score again. It was good to see Doyle come into the side and look like he fits in perfectly. Like, for me, it is a headache now for selection for Newcastle.
It's a massive headache if you think about it now, because we've gone from, like the choice against Man City, you literally didn't hardly have a choice. And now you've got Lemina's coming back from injury. Boubakari clearly likes. Tommy Doyle's come in and looks, I mean, he's a Man City player, so, he's quality. I mean, you got him. Joe Hodge is probably now 6th choice. Bellegarde's coming back as well. And then you've got Joe Gomez. You've got like 6 potential midfielders there.
Our midfield is incredible for options, and they are good quality players. The thing is now, with all this confidence that we've got behind us, and I can only see us kicking on. Like, I was dreading some of the games coming up. Newcastle was one of them. I honestly thought that Newcastle will walk us. But going into this game, on the confidence that we've got, another win, I honestly fancy us bringing a surprise on them.
You know what the funny thing is, Scott? And I know it is a thing because Newcastle, you know, they've got the money. They're in Champions League. You know, they're playing very, very well. They're just the last 2 or 3 weeks they've been destroying teams, scoring for fun. We saw the stats on Match of the Day, first in every stat, so it's going to be tough. But like, if we managed to win that game, if we did, we'd be 2 points behind Newcastle.
Do you know what I think, though? You remember that game where Doherty scored in the last minute?
I do remember it well. You know,
Yeah.
Yes, that was a way.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it ain't a 1-0 victory and we get a goal just the same way as that.
Interesting. Chris, give us an update on the Formula One before we come to you.
Yeah, he didn't do it. He got to within 1.2 seconds of Max, but Max won, but Lewis comes second. So he did really well, but unfortunately not close enough.
I mean, it's been a bit of a cakewalk for Max Verstappen. I mean, it's been a bit boring. Do you think it's starting next season?
It's clear that they can design cars and they change the rules to suit them, and now nobody can catch them, which is a shame. You don't want to get me on that soapbox, Dave. You'll be here for 3 hours.
Yeah, you want competition in a sport. It's a bit like when you look at the Premier League. You don't want Man City winning every year, really. I mean, yeah, as good as they are, you want competition. Chris, you've heard what Sutty's had to say, Scott's had to say. What's your take?
Well, happy birthday to Keith. Have you been working today, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It looks like you've been out delivering chocolates. That job, bro.
Yeah, he hasn't got one of his fancy trackies on today.
No. Looks like
I have been out working today.
Have you? All right. Well done, mate.
He was out all day yesterday, though, so he kind of probably that's probably why, ain't it, mate?
Well, I've not work. I've been helping my brother-in-law move house.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. So sorry, Chris.
It's all right. Yeah, I thought it was a good performance. I thought, look, Gary O'Neill said some of the things that the other lad said. Gary O'Neill said in his aftermatch that he thought Boubacar and Joe were too similar and needed to change it. So big thumbs up to me from that. We talked about midfield. Scott was saying about it. I've watched for the last 4 years Wolves refuse to make subs every single game while the other teams have changed their midfield and absolutely run right over us. And it's good now that we've got such a good level of players that can come in. And, you know, you can whip 2 players out, put 2 fresh guys in that midfield, and they're all of a really good standard. I don't think we've ever had such a good squad of midfielders before in my time of watching Wolves. But it was a great game. I thought we played really well. I didn't think they deserved a goal. I was really upset with the marking. Do you know who the last player running back was to cover on that goal? Do you know the last Wolves player running back was?
Go on.
Probably Wang.
Ryan Ait-Nouri.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I actually said to Sutty at half-time, I didn't think he'd had
miles behind. Absolutely miles behind the play, jogging back. He's got 3 guys running at him, bish bash bosh in the net. You've got to stop it. He's just, you know, you've got a defensive game to do. But, you know, that's probably the only thing I could pick fault out of that performance. I have to say, I thought it was great. Great.
Absolutely. Sutty, just before we go on to talking a bit more about the game, man of the match and all that sort of stuff, Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby Charlton, do you want to add a few words, each of you guys, about Sir Bobby, if you've got any memories or things that come to mind?
Well, I know you'll find this hard to believe, Dave, with these aged looks, but I never actually got to see Bobby Charlton play. But my old man did, God rest him. And my old man always used to say, football is a simple game made difficult by idiots, Dave, right? Which I totally agree with. It's such a simple game, really, football. But this man, he was up there with Pele and Bobby Moore, Beckenbauers, all of these players. And like I said to you last week, Dave, about young Silva, being a good footballer, there's lots of good footballers. There's lots of very good footballers. But to make you an absolute legend of the game, it's not just about being a good footballer, Dave. You've got to be a really good team person and ultimately a good person. And I think Bobby Charlton was basically everything to this, probably the greatest English player, definitely the greatest English midfielder of all time. And I think we've got one playing for England now who could surpass that at some point, Dave. But the game's changed, and these were honest men playing a proper hard game back in the day. The game's changed, Dave. It's not like it was then. And these blokes got up, shrugged it off, and got stuck in and shook hands at the end. And we will never, ever see the likes of him again.
Good point here. They're making some wonderful point. JS96 Bobby Charlton never got booked or sent off in his entire career. Scott, anything you want to add? No. Okay, Chris.
Yeah, I've actually met Bobby Charlton twice. First time, I've been corrected by my family today. I was actually 6 when I met him the first time. He flew over to Germany to hand out awards for a football tournament where my dad was a player manager. And my dad's a Man United fan. I didn't take after him in terms of football. But we went and picked him up from the airport, and he didn't actually stay in my house. I've had that clarified today. I must have gone to bed and he was still there. And when I got up the next day, he was there again because he went and stayed in a mess, apparently. But he was a very nice man. I met him again at Billy Wright's funeral in the wake afterwards and asked him if he remembered going out there. He didn't remember me, but he remembered going out to watch this tournament and the dad's team winning because they played in a Newcastle strip. And it was what he said to me straight away. Oh, yes, I went there. Team that won played in Newcastle strip. He was a nice man. I never really saw him play. I'm not that old like Keith to have seen him play, but seen plenty of films and videos, and he got a bit of a rocket shot on him, and he was a great player, a great man, and he's another one that we've lost, unfortunately. And I think that's it now for the World Cup team, isn't it?
One left.
He's the one left. Jeff Hurst, is it? Yeah.
Just one left. Yeah. Scott, anything you want to add on to Bobby Charlton whilst we're just paying our respects, really?
If you look at Bobby Charlton's footballing life and his life in general, he was an incredible man, incredible human being who went through a lot of trauma, should I say, with the Busby Babes and that plane crash. And to come out of that and still play incredible football, recover from that and become the legend that he did for England and Manchester United. From a footballing point of view, he was one of the best in the world and also arguably like one of the best ever British football players would ever graced the field. Unfortunately, he's gone now. And like we've just said, Jeff Hurst is the only one left of that amazing team from 1966. I'm way too young to have watched him play, but I know my dad did, and my dad speaks very highly of him. It's just a shame to see that he's now gone, and may he rest in peace.
Really lovely words. Thank you, gentlemen. And everyone, tonight. You know, the sad loss of a legend, icon, and a gentleman, Sir Bobby Charlton. On to the game, guys. Let's start with you, Scott, for this one. Your performance rating, highlight or moment of the day, and your man of the match.
Performance rating, I'd say it was probably 7.5 because I know we can be better and we are getting better. But I was pleased with the performance. I thought it was a good performance at a place that nobody wants to go to. The highlight for me was probably that crossbar shot from Neto, because it just summed up. We were coming for the 3 points and we weren't going away from their stadium without anything less. Man of the match, Doyle, changed the game for me. Absolutely changed the game. Incredible player. I know he won't ever sign for Wolves because he is a proper Man City boy. Yeah,
well, actually, that's actually he will sign for Wolves. Wolves have got an option on £5 million to buy him. It was part of the agreement when we sent Nunes. That's why his fee's so low.
Well, we could sign him now, I reckon.
Well, there isn't. We have got the option to buy him, and it's the fee's $5 million, and the valuation is 15 million. But it's believed as part of the Nunes deal, they agreed to do a lower fee with the option to buy him, so they could get Nunes for the 45 million. There's a bit of negotiation that went on there. So yeah, I mean, he will become a Wolves player if Wolves take up the option, won't they, Sutty?
Absolutely, yeah.
Sutty, your man of the match, are you going to agree with Tommy Doyle? I think.
I don't think you can go past Tommy Doyle because he changed the game. Just briefly as well, young Alex Scott started for Bournemouth yesterday, his first start. Obviously, we were heavily linked with Alex Scott. And I think he cost Bournemouth 25 million, didn't he, or something like that. Very similar kinds of players. Very similar. But if you tell me there's £20 million difference between them, I'll call you a liar, because not on yesterday's performance anyway. So I'm going to give it Doyle, but I just want to put a shout out for virtually everybody. I don't think many had an off day yesterday. They were all sevens, really, Dave. I know Chris has said that Ait Nori went to sleep. That's just typical of Ait Nori, isn't it? He always goes to sleep at some point. He's the most laid-back player I know. I was watching him warm up yesterday, and when he was warming up, we were stood, me and a few lads from Worcester stood going, look at him. He just looks like, he just doesn't look interested at all.
He is very laid back.
Very laid back. But anyhow, I think they were all at least a 7, Dave, yesterday. It's an away win. Any away win is a good win for me. So I'll give it Doyle. Highlight of the day has to be the second goal for me, Dave. That honestly, that away end went nuts. I was right by the steps. There was people rolling down the steps, coming over the top of us. It was proper limbs in there. It was funny, really funny away day. So it was.
I've got the collaged goal up on its own on my channel, but of course it's also included in the match vlog. So guys, make sure you check out the match vlog because I've got both the goals, and there's a lot, like you say, there's a lot of happy Wolves fans in that away end. And
the moment of the day for me, Dave, was after the game actually when Cunha come over and he gave a little girl his shirt.
Yeah,
and they were doing the Cunha song, and he was
spinning round,
everybody. He was orchestrating. He's a bit of a character, is Cunha. Big grin on his face. And I do actually believe that he does like playing for us.
Yeah. No, he loved the song, and I think he's a player that wants to be loved by the fans.
And let's not forget as well, Dave, when I know Jack says, it costs 43 million. It's a lot of money for us. A hell of a lot of money. But let's not also forget, we keep saying he's a striker, and I know he's being played down the middle, but he's a number 10, Dave. And if he can get us 8 to 10 goals in a season, that's
he's on 2 now.
Yeah, that's money well spent, Dave, especially if Wang can keep banging them in, because Wang is different class at the moment. Work rate is incredible, and he's brought a little bit of shithousery to his game as well, ain't he, Dave? Because he went down like he'd been shot yesterday, and I don't really like to see it, but how many times have we had that happen to us? I mean, it's just a joke. So, and he did put the nut on him. So you got to go, unfortunately. That's part and parcel of the game. Now you can't do it. So, yeah, fully deserved. And Wang.
But isn't this something that we've talked about with Wolves, that we're too soft, too nice, that we've got to start having a little bit
dark arts, Dave. Dark arts.
Bournemouth were famous for the dark arts, and they're crying about it. It's like, come on. But like, we've seen that so many times to us. Now, Gary O'Neill's made a fair point after the game, I believe, saying that we get picking up too many stupid yellow cards for dissent and stuff like that. Because that will cost us in terms of suspensions. We've got to start being sensible. But if we can wind other players up and, they're sent off. But he was genuinely aggrieved because it was a yellow card tackle on it even before he got up and went for it. But Wang's a player that's had a lot of injuries. You don't want him getting injured again. So he got upset. But he got upset to the point where he just pushed his chest into him and had a bit of aggression, but he didn't bang the nut. And the other guy couldn't take it and then nutted him back. And the second he's done that, he's thinking, shit, I fell for it. You can't fall for it, can you?
No, it's part of the dark arts, Dave. And they're learning fast, Dave. You've got to be as good as your opponent at it. None of us like to see it, let's be honest, Dave. We all sit there, don't we, or stand there, moaning at them, bloody get up, stop rolling around. But it's the way the game's gone, Dave. And if you don't do it, you're going to get caught out. They'll catch you out. So you've got to fight fire with fire, unfortunately, mate. And you've got to be as dirty, as nasty as they are.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And Chris, over to you.
Just on the Wang thing. So obviously I wasn't there, I watched it, and they showed the replay. They sent it off 3 or 4 times. There's a slow motion replay, which shows him actually dropping the nut from behind the Portsmouth player's head. And when you drop a pebble in a pond and it ripples,
you can, yeah.
He head-butted him that much. Wang's face rippled. So it wasn't just a little tap. He gave him a good clonk.
And it's on his eye socket as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think, look, I have to say I can't see past giving man of the match to Gary O'Neill for yesterday. I think we've got to, these idiots calling him a PE teacher and all this crap that we've had. He made 2 subs there that directly affected the game, because Sasa was a guy that won the ball off Billing that then got turned back to him, and he put the ball on it after Wang's nice little pass. Great finish. And we, the lads have already talked about Doyle. He made those changes when he took Gomez off. I was like, what's he done that for? Because I thought Gomez was doing all right. I didn't see Doyle coming on and making that impact. This guy takes them every week. He knows what they're doing. He's putting them in the team, and he's made. We've moaned as fans. Even Lopetegui with subs, he wouldn't make subs at times. Bruno Lage didn't make. You go back to that day, and have a manager that will make subs, and he's impacting the game. He's done it a couple of times now. He's done it the wrong way a couple of times, but I don't mind that so much if he's trying to do something to change a game. And he's learning.
He's
learning
you've got to stay patient, because he's still learning about his team and his squad and everything. So
I got to give it in, Dave. I think he made the changes. He affected the game. I know the players did it, but they can't do it without him putting them on the pitch, and he did it without any sort of hesitation yesterday. And it's the first time in a while we've got a team that's playing like a team, and I think these are the effects he's having on us. So that's my take on man of the match. Thing of the day. Is that what you asked? What was our
moment highlight of the day?
Highlight of the day for me, nothing to do with football. And yesterday I suffered a puncture because somebody drove past me over a vape, which then exploded and propelled itself in the side wall of my tyre. And I was stranded with a machine that's supposed to put gunk in the tyre that wouldn't go in because the hole was so big. And this fella called Phil come along. He had a jack and a socket set. Helped me get my tyre off because it wasn't in my nice car that I've got that should have everything in the boot. He helped me get it off. He drove me to the nearest place that had a 19-inch tyre in stock because people don't stock them anymore. They order them in. And he gave up about 3 hours time on Saturday that allowed me to get this tyre fixed. I was supposed to be going to Wolverhampton and then coming back to watch a match. And I just got back home with a fixed tyre just in time to watch the match. So he sort of demonstrated there are still very nice people in the world, and I'm very appreciative of him.
That's a great shout, and we talk about Bobby Charlton and people, and having humanity and being humble and helping people. There's an example there of someone just giving up 3 hours to help you out, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And your performance rating?
I think I'm not going to give it a 7. I'm going to get an 8 because I don't think we were in any danger. The goal was just they didn't really do much. Dave, we snuffed them out. I thought we played well yesterday. I think it's a away match. You don't get given points in the Premier League. You got to go and earn them, and they did yesterday. I've got to give them an 8.
And yeah, I mean that's true. And then you look at the Luton result, which we should have won without the penalty, but like they've gone and got an away point against fought back from 2-0 down with 10 minutes again against Forest yesterday. These teams aren't good. You've got to go and beat them, and they're not just going to roll over. And interesting. Sheffield United ain't going to be an easy game when we go to there in a couple of weeks either, because they're going to be similar to Bournemouth. They gave United a good game yesterday, but like you've still got to go and get the results. But it's going to be interesting on Newcastle. We'll come on to that in a minute. Are you ready for the quiz? See who's going to come out on top of this one. This one, gentlemen, is going to be on the Football League. Who wants to take the first penalty? Who wants to go second? Who wants to take the third penalty?
I'm easy, Dave.
Right, so Scott, do you want to go first or last? Sooty's in the middle.
I'll go first.
So Scott's going first. Sooty, you're second. Chris, you're last. Okay. So Football League. Scott, for your first penalty. And I think you're probably a bit of John Smith's penalty taker, bang, just no messing. Wolves were one of the founder members of the Football League, which was founded in 1888. How many clubs were the original league? 8, 10, 12, or 15? Don't shout in the comments, guys.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say 12.
You're locking it in?
Yeah.
Your penalty, you blasted it straight down the middle. It's knocked the keeper over and gone in. No problem.
Can I have that one, Dave?
It's gone, mate. It's gone. Second one. 1982, the English Football League was expanded to 2 leagues. In 1892, was expanded to 2 leagues. Wolves remained in the first division, the top flight, until they were relegated to the first time in which season? A, 1900 to 01, B, 1905 to 06, C, 1910 to 1911, or D, 1920 to 1921. Don't shout out in the chat. So A, 1900, B, 1905, C, 1910, D, 1920.
You've stitched me up like a kipper there, haven't you?
No, it's the second question.
I hope you don't get harder.
You're going for B.
Yeah.
1905.
Yeah.
You're locking it in.
I'll lock it in.
You're not looking at the goal, are you, when you're taking this?
No.
And it's worked because it's sent the keeper the wrong way. You're giving him the eyes. It's gone in. It's a goal.
I knew it all along, Dave.
Did you? It's a bit like that bloody man, that player that scored for who was it that scored for Man City or wherever it was yesterday? He said he meant it. He never meant that when he was across.
Mudrich for Chelsea.
That's it, Chelsea. Yeah. Right, Chris. In 1920, the third division was added to the Football League.
Dave, how old do you think those three lads are?
It's the way they're falling. In the form of the third division North and the third division South, Wolves remained in the second division until they were relegated to the third division North for the first time in what season? A, 1920, B, 1921, C, 1922, or C, 1923-24 season?
That's easy, Chris.
Go on, don't say in the chat. A, 1920, B, 1921-22, C, 22-23, D, 23-24.
Well, keep saying it easy. I thought the first time we went in the third division when I was watching them. So that shows you how easy it is to me. I'm going to go for C.
So you're going for C, which is you're going for the 1922-23 season. You're locking that in?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you take your penalties, Chris?
One step, top right-hand corners.
Well, the keeper can't reach it. It's gone in. No chance. It is correct. It's 1922-23 season. So 1-1-1. Excellent. Back to you, Scott. So Wolves won their first league title when they returned to the second division as champions of the third division in what season? Was it A, 1923-24, B, 24-25, C, 25-26, or D, 25-27? A, 1923.
Let's say B.
You're going for B?
Yeah.
You've hit the John Smiths again, haven't you? It's close, but it's come off the bar and it's bounced back because they actually did bounce back in the first season straight away. They got promoted the following season, as champions and went back up. So the answer is the 23-24 season. So the first one is missed. Sooty. Wolves won the second league title when they returned to the first division as champions of the second division in which season? Was it A, 1928-29? Was it B, 1929-30? Was it C, 1930-31? Or was it D, 1931-32 season?
C.
So are you going for C, the 1930-31 season?
Yeah.
It's hit the post. It hit the post. It's close, but it was the 1931-32 season a year later.
I'm coming on the first part of the show next week because their questions
questions are easy.
Easy.
I just turned the page and
you need to get Magic on this lot. He'll know these.
You probably would. Right, Chris, you're in the pole position at the moment, Chris. After winning the second division for the first time, Wolves spent the majority of the next 52 years in the top flight. How many times were their first division champions in this period? A1, B2, C3, or D4? Sutty's fine. He's thinking, I wish I had this one. A1, B2, C3, or D4?
Three.
You're going for three. Sutty's ashamed. What is it, Sutty?
My brain's gone, to be honest. All this 1921 talk's done me in.
Sutty, what is it?
He's writing down 10.
It's 4, yes. So basically, you've hit the other post. So the second penalties have all been missed.
Yeah.
So back to Sutty. He's back in the game.
Scott next, isn't it?
Scott. During the same period, how many seasons did they spend in the second division? Scotty, was it A1, B2, C3, or D4? During the same 52-year period, how many years did they spend in the second division? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
1.
You're going for 1.
Yeah.
Right, you've hit the penalty. It's missed. It's gone over the roof. It's that far away. It's 4. You've skied it, mate. You've skied it. Sooty, back onto you. A chance to put your nose in front for the first time. Okay.
If the playoff final gets brought up about every return to the Premier League, you want these questions.
No. Who knows? It might, maybe. During the same period, in which season, Sooty, were Wolves champions of the second division for the second time? 1965-66, 66-67, 76-77, or 82-83? 65-66, 66-67, 76-77, or 82-83?
Keith's competitive daddy here. He's probably
Are you going for B? So are you going for 1966-67?
Yeah.
Are you locking that in?
I am, yeah. I think that's when the demise happened with Cullis.
You've missed, mate. You've missed by a long way.
It's the 70s one, isn't it?
You've done a Rabona, and the keeper stood there and catch the ball. It's 76-77. So 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. Up he pops, puffing his chest out. Chris, cheerful Chris, he's got a smile on his face to win this second half of the quiz and go into the final with Jack. Here we go. After 3 relegations in as many seasons in the 1980s, Chris, in which season did Wolves become champions of the 4th division for the first time? 1984, 85, 86, 86, 87, or 87, 88? A, B, C. Sooty's writing it down. Look.
You've proper stitched me up here, you have, I tell you.
I haven't.
No more away tickets for you, lad. I'm telling you.
I know it's over the 3rd one or the 4th one, and I'm just trying to clear my head to think which one it is.
Come on. Dan's laughing at Sooty. Like, look at
that. 4th one.
Are you going for 1987, 88? Are you sure you're going to lock that in? Or 80? Are you not? Or 86?
Change it, Chris. Change it.
Did you say the 4th division?
4th division for the first time. 87. You're going with 87, 88 because you said the 4th or the 3rd one. The 3rd one's 86, 87. What are you going for? Locking in what?
Are you doubting yourself, Chris?
I doubt
You've got time to change, Chris.
No, I'm going for the 4th one.
Yes, he's won it. He's won it. Chris has won it.
He's a twat. I'm thinking he's saying, I think again. I'm like, sure,
he was using reverse psychology on you there.
I've just gone through about 15 years of school thinking, well, this, that. No, it was definitely then.
Fantastic. So yeah, Chris, you're victorious. That was a bit of fun.
Mr. Miltray there trying to make me go wrong.
No, he was trying to use the old reverse psychology. Finally, guys, just before we finish tonight, a big thank you to Creation Walls, the local Wolverhampton country, for powering extra time. Score prediction, Scott, for Newcastle.
I say 1-0 Wolves.
1-0 to the Wanderers. Sooty.
1-0 Wolves.
Chris.
I think the bubbles burst a bit, Dave. I think I know you've given me this nice name, but I think I've got to get back to normality. So I think the score next weekend is going to be Wolves 3, Newcastle 1. They'll come and attack us.
We've had so many facial expressions from Sooty tonight. He's like, oh my God. 3-0 Wolves.
He did that last time I made a prediction, and I was right.
Oh, you did predict the City game, right, though, as well? He did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If you get this right, we're going to change your name from Cheerful to Oracle.
Definitely.
You know. Anyway, I mean, look at Andrew Knight here. Andrew, what?
Well, there's a bit of logic behind it, and what I think is Newcastle are going to attack us, and teams that attack us, we do better at generally, rather than teams that don't want to attack us. So, and I think with the front three we've got, we can turn a game quickly, fast from defence to attack, and I think it could happen.
If we win 3-1 next week, I'm getting that back out again.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's that?
Europe.
Oh, yeah.
If we win 3-1 next week,
he said
we'll
3-0.
get the Farmers League.
He didn't give him Sutty. He didn't even give him a goal. He said 3-0.
No, I did. 3-1.
Are you going 3-1?
Yeah, not 3-0.
Okay. Kevin Layton just wants to say, cheers, been absolutely fantastic. Cheers on the chat, just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. It's been a great one tonight. Barry's saying as well, everybody, it's bedtime. It is bedtime. It's time because I need to go and have a cup of tea now, catch up with the producer. Absolutely brilliant tonight. And, you know, final thing to say, obviously, rest in peace, Sir Bobby Charlton. Respected by everyone, no matter your colours, wherever you are in the world. True legend of the game. Good night. God bless you all. Love to you and your families. Until the next one, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.